Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Derek back here again for another video. And today we're going to be actually doing something fun. I'm going to be comparing my Duramax, which is over here. You guys have seen this a billion times. I don't even have to show you. 2005. So this is the diesel version. And I have the exact same truck, but it's a 2003, and it is actually the gasser 6-liter version. So it's a 2500 just like this truck, but instead of being the diesel, it's the 6-liter version with the 6L80 in it, or the 4L80 in it. So what I was thinking would be a cool comparison is when I see a lot of these comparison where it's diesel versus gas or whatever, a lot of the trucks are like 2015 versus 2015 or something like that. I never see like the older trucks. So I thought, let's do it. I have the trailer here today, so it's perfect. There's a 30-foot Attitude trailer. I'm giving an estimate of 8,000, give or take, 500 pounds on the weight that we're going to be pulling. It's unloaded, it's dry, so it's not at anywhere near max weight. But it'll give you a good idea. I feel like 8,000 pounds is a good number. There's stuff that's going to be lighter, stuff that's going to be right around there that you're going to tow. So I'm just, like I said, I want to do this video to kind of show you, hey, what's right for you. If you have something that you're towing that's 6,000 pounds, do you need the diesel truck? Because if you look at my other video that I was talking about with maintenance and all that, diesels can be a little more pricey, especially if something breaks. They can be more expensive. So if you can get away with having a gas truck with towing the load that you're towing, it might be the best route for you. But we're going to get into that into this video, so let's start it. I already have my truck attached. You can see I'm already ready to go on my truck now because this is what I was towing it with. Mine, the Squat. I have ride right bags in the rear, but I just didn't air them up because I just forgot to air them up when we were going out there, but it's fine. I'm going to air them up before I go and drop the trailer back off. But yeah, so this is how the Duramax is hooked up right now, and we might as well go drive it around. I feel like there's not a lot of comparison videos showing me or people actually towing with them. Like I said, like people just go, what's better? You know, this does this, this does that. Well, I said, you know what? Why don't we actually tow with them so you can literally see, hey, how is this thing doing up this grade and this and that? So let's do it. All right, so we are now in the Duramax, and just a few little things about, we're gonna talk about the diesel stuff, is of course, when you're towing with a diesel, you are going to, it's just the way that they pull both of the trucks is just so much different. In the fact that like excuse that music, with the diesel truck you're like rolling through. It's kind of hard to explain, but you're just on the throttle, the truck pulls, you don't got to really be accelerating. It can just kind of maintain and pull with its torque that it has. When you're dealing with the gasser truck, it's not like it's struggling, but just the way that they work. I mean, diesel's redline at like less than $5,000 sometimes, so it's like with the gasser trucks, they like to be revved out a little bit more. So the way they tow is you're more up in the RPM and you're more in the throttle and modulating the throttle, opposed to this one you're just kind of on the throttle and it's pulling slowly. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just kind of a little precursor of like how this one acts versus how that one acts. That's just how I've noticed towing with both of them. So yeah, we're gonna tow with this thing right now. Let's do it. So we're just going up a little hill here, nothing crazy. Like I said, if honestly speaking, when I'm pulling this thing, you can barely even, like, you know what's back there, but with like the tow haul mode on, I can just cruise up this hill. And these are okay size hills. I gotta turn my brake down a little bit. Hold on. It's engaging a little too much. Yeah, that's just what's so crazy about the diesel stuff is you can be pulling with these things and it's crazy. You're almost like, do I have a load back there sometimes? It's just the way that the torque is just, it's really amazing. But so as you see, we're about 2,000 RPM cruising up this hill. I don't know if you'll be able to see that odometer, but it's like nothing, no big deal. Just cruising through it. I bet you can kind of hear in the cabin, it ain't, you know, revving too much to get up the hill or anything like that. It's pretty calm. It's not bad at all. And also, while we're here talking about the Duramax, when I'm towing, Around city's not fair. I mean, around city with the trailer, you're not going to get that good of mileage, but still, my average Econ's showing me that I get about 14.5 miles to the gallon. So, might sound low, but that's actually pretty good, especially considering towing a trailer on the back of it. And I don't tow trailers at 30 miles an hour. I tow them with some speed here and there. So I think that's pretty decent, and that's showing me no freeway driving. That's just been around town with the trailer. Picking it up, I've been working on it, taking it around here and there. So not terrible. You are gonna notice with the gas truck, I guess we'll get into that when I'm driving that, but there's just some differences with that. So you get decent mileage in the diesel just because they're ease of pulling, they're low RPM. It just kind of helps out with that, so that's one plus. All right, so now I'm gonna kind of pull out in traffic to kind of show you acceleration wise, which is a big deal, of how it can kind of pick up speed. So we're gonna go ahead and do it now. As you can see, pulls out, no problem. And then I'll show you what I think is the best part of the diesel is the spoolie noises. So let's hear that. So she spools good. That is of course one of my favorite parts, but as you can see, pulls out super quick. It doesn't have a problem getting out into traffic. Of course, this is all pretty obvious. It's like, well, yeah, it's a diesel truck, so of course it's gonna be fine doing this stuff. But like I said, I just want to show you the ease of pulling that this thing really does have. It's honestly crazy. I get like that the gassers do it, and they can do it fine, but in the fact that if you're getting something to just purely tow, these things pull like a dream. If you've never pulled with the diesel before, you gotta do it. It really is crazy. It's especially coming from pulling with a gas truck, it just feels like it's not even trying. So it's pretty cool, and this is what these things are made for. Literally, diesel trucks weren't made to just drive around. They were made to pull stuff behind. That's the whole point of them. You got the torque and all that, so you can definitely feel it when you're driving it, and it's just cool. And you can see my tow haul, a lot of diesels are like this. It actually is interactive with like downshifts to help you brake. So mine in tow haul mode is holding gears better and downshifts a little more like that to help me aid coming to a stop. All right, so now we'll give you a little acceleration, like if you were getting on the freeway, to kind of give you a good idea. So let's do that. So it's about 30 miles an hour. I'm gonna get on it. So you can see it pulled pretty decent. I didn't go full throttle on it. I'm not gonna get too crazy, but that was pretty much almost all the way there. That's how I'd merge onto a freeway. So I mean, it gets up to speed really nice for, again, considering what you have on the back. It does pretty good. So I have done a few things to the motor. I'll show you right now. So first off, what I did was put on this SNB intake elbow right here. That's just because on the LLY engine specifically, other ones have been remedied, like the LBZ. This intake mouthpiece that goes directly into the turbo is really small and tapered down. So SMB intake mouthpiece, this keeps down the EGTs and just helps with overall spool time and just keeping the motor cooler. So this thing was about 200 something bucks. Full SNB intake. This came on the truck. This is the only thing that came on the truck actually, but I'd say that was about, I don't know, 300-400 bucks maybe. And I did that, and under here the only other thing I did was a PCV reroute, which again is just trying to keep the motor cooler, running better. I haven't done any power direct mods. I haven't tuned it. Most of this stuff is reliability stuff because again I tow with it and this and that. So other than that, everything else is stock under here. It's got a pretty new coolant tank just because I felt like doing it. But yeah, these things definitely have kept cooling down and helped a lot though. So if you happen to have an LLY, look into doing that. It definitely helps. Besides the engine modifications, a lot of these come with tow mirrors. This one came with tow mirrors, but I ended up putting the new style tow mirror on it. These things make a world of a difference. Even the other tow mirrors, just having tow mirrors makes a huge difference. So I did that. Like I said, I did put bags in the rear. You can see, it's kind of hard to show you in there, but I did put bags on the Duramax, even on, I believe this my dad's truck. We'll see how it is when we put it on. You don't need the bags. The bag's more of a luxury. On a lighter duty truck, you might literally need them. On these, it's not terrible. I mean, this thing's got drop shackles in the rear, so it's already a tad lower already, but it's still, it's not squatting bad enough where you would literally need drop shackle or airbags. But that's another modification. And besides that, the truck's stock. It's got straight pipe and whatever, but that's how it tows. It tows great. And yeah, so now I'm gonna unhook this truck, pull my dad's truck up to it, and which is the 2500 gas truck, and we're gonna see how that thing pulls. So let's do that. So now we are all hooked up over here. I took off that truck, came over here, put this one back on. We're all hooked up onto now the 2500 6.0 Silverado. So we're gonna see how this thing pulls in comparison. This is a long bed 2003. It's got 106,000 miles on it. And yeah, we're gonna see how this thing tows now. This thing does have leveling keys up front, so it's sitting pretty level. And without the drop shackles, you can see this thing even sits higher. It barely squats at all. But he might actually have some air in the bags, because he thought he was going to be pulling the trailer, but I kind of wanted to take my truck, so that's why we did that. But you can see, very similar. One's not weaker than the other as far as putting a trailer onto it. So, all right, well, yeah, let's get after it. All right, so we're going to come from a dead stop and go up a hill and see how she does. So, dead stop. You can see I got to give it a little more throttle initial input wise, like I am now. So initial throttle a little bit more, and then going up a hill just a little more throttle than I would in the, you can hear the truck. I'll let you listen. But I'm not gonna lie to you, with this load on it, they both tow really nice. Both of these trucks. Up that hill, it wasn't that bad, and we're gonna hit another hill here in a second, so you can kind of see. Unfortunately, the RPM gauge is broken. It keeps twitching now. We've tried to fix it, but whatever. You can see up a hill, I'm pretty much all the way to the floor right now. So up a hill is where you really notice it. Again, it pulls up the hill fine, going 20-something miles an hour. But in my truck, it's more of like I'm not even thinking about it. You know, I'm cruising up it a lot more. That I had the pedal pretty much all the way to the floor, getting up that hill. You don't need to. You could cruise up it, but you do have to give more throttle input. But I'm not gonna lie, I haven't towed with this thing in a while, and it tows nice still. It tows really nice. I'll roll the windows up here. One pro that you're gonna get with this over the Duramax is, even though they're both 2500s, this one tows a little smoother. It's just smoother in the rear end, just overall. If you daily drive this versus my truck, you notice it right away. The rear end's a lot less stiff in this, at least less stiff feeling. I don't get why. You would think they'd have pretty, I mean, I guess mine probably has a little more, or it does have a bigger tow rating, so that's probably has something to do with it. More stuff in the leaf springs, but this thing just tows a lot smoother around town, and even just driving the truck by itself, like I said. So that being said, with this load on it, like I said, about 8,000 pounds, it still tows really nice. The whole thing that is the only, I'd say, the con with this versus having a Duramax is the MPG that you're going to be getting. Again, it's not like it's so drastic where it's like, oh my gosh, it's freaking 30, less or whatever. This thing, I'd say, gets around 10, 9 to 10. So the Duramax, I'd say, gets around 14 to 17. This thing, I'd say, gets, you know what? I'm talking city. Let's do an average on both. I'd say this thing probably gets about 10 to 12, city, highway, mixed. And I say the Duramax gets about 12 to 15, 12 to 17 range. So you're going to be getting about 5, give and take, more with the Duramax MPG, which over a road trip can make a difference. If you put a tune on the Duramax, it can tow a lot better, or not tow a lot better. The mile per gallon's a lot better from what I've heard from people. So that's one con, I guess you can say, is you are going to get worse gas mileage in the gasser just because of how they work, and you're going to have to be kind of driving it a tad bit harder than you would the Duramax. Okay, so now I'm going to do that same stop to left turn pulling into traffic move that I did in the Duramax, just to kind of give you an equal comparison of how they both are. I would show you some exhaust notes and some cool noises, but unfortunately this thing doesn't make any. It's stock exhaust, so if it had an exhaust it'd sound cool, but this is me pulling into traffic, making a left turn. You can see it does it fine, has no issue. Pretty similar. Again, this is flat land now, so you can hear the RPM. Now listen, it's just a little higher in the RPM than my truck is, just because of, I mean, that's just how the trucks are. They're a little different in that sense, and it's just a little smoother because that rear end, like I said, that rear suspension and whatnot. So yeah, tow's nice though, it really does. All right, so I'm gonna do that same kind of 30 mile per hour getting onto the freeway. Kind of test right here. So I'm at 30, and we're gonna get on it like we're merging. So this is pretty much to the floor right here, and now it downshifted. And there's 50. So that isn't, again, my truck, definitely a little faster in that aspect, you know, getting on the throttle and getting some speed. It's faster. This one still does it fine again, but mine's just a little faster, a little less work involved in doing it. Doesn't even have to downshift really, so that's one thing too. All right, so yeah, so that's how this thing towed. It towed pretty nice. I'll go ahead and do a walk around, not a walk around, but show you the motor. All right, so here it is. So as you can see, Vortec 6.0, all stock, completely. So it does what it needs to do. This thing towed great for what it is. All right, so overall, like I was saying, there's a few pros, a few cons. The gasser might get a little worse gas mileage. The Duramax is going to tow a little better overall, no matter what. That's just how it is. They're made to do it. They make more torque. It's set up for that. But besides that, this thing does tow fine. We're in the 2500 gas truck. So if you need a truck and you don't want to get into the diesel thing because it's kind of its own little world in a sense of with maintenance and all that stuff, you can't just take it for the most part to a normal mechanic if that's what you do or whatever. So if you're looking for something more basic, these trucks are known to be like extremely reliable. They have the LS motor, and they have the LS 6.0, and they have the 4L80 in it, and the 6L80 in some of them too. So super reliable truck. I would take this thing anywhere. And you know that if something does break, repairs are pretty cheap on them. In 8,000 pounds or less, all day I'd get one of these if that's what you're trying to do. If you know you're going to be towing a lot, that's your plan with it. You're going to be towing with it and whatever, I just go ahead and get the diesel, just honestly, outright, because you don't need it. But first off, I like having that room. Or like, hey, I have no problem. I know you give me a 10,000 pound thing, I'm gonna pull it with no worries. Even though this thing could maybe do it, it's just towing wise. When you drive both of them, it's kind of, I try to tell you in the video, but you really got to drive both of them. I know a lot of you guys have probably towed with gas trucks and diesel trucks, but towing the exact same load on one and then the exact other, it gives you a real good like perspective of, hey, this is how this one tows, this is how that one tows. But obviously the diesel tows better. If you are looking for something like that, you're not scared of maybe one day having to fix something that might be pricey, go with the diesel. So it's kind of like two things there. The diesel is going to be a little more expensive overall, usually, and the gasser is going to be a little cheaper. Even goes with Fords and anything. That's usually how it goes. But this gives you a good like direct comparison. They're pretty much the same model year. My Duramax is an 05, this is an 03, and yeah, they're both going to do the job. My overall recommendation is get the diesel. I like diesel stuff. It's just cool to me. I like gas trucks too, but as far as getting a 2500, go with the diesel. If you aren't going to tow that much and you're just going to tow here and there and you would like even a daily driver truck or something like that, I'd say go with the gas 2500. But again, it all just depends on what you're going to do and kind of what you would like. That's going to be all for the video. I hope this kind of helped you guys if you were on the edge of, hey, what do I kind of want to do? What would I like? Reliability wise, they're both great overall. That's one thing you're not going to have to worry about with these Chevys. They're both super reliable. The truck has 260 on the diesel, never 260,000 miles, been super reliable. This thing has 106,000, but it's obviously been reliable in that it's pretty low miles. But they're both great trucks, so I recommend them both. And just don't buy a Ford. No, I'm just kidding. But if you have any questions, anything like that, drop them down below. Press that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and let me know how you like the video. And yeah, I got another video that I'm going to be putting up hopefully the day after you guys see this one, which is like a little car meet thing that I did, or that I went to. So thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.